There you are, in all that low-level gear, full of a noob. Wise crusaders peruse Igor's trade house, and so should you. Gear up for your next great adventure at Igor's trade house.
What up, players? It's WarbossTae up in this mug. We're taking a look at the first skeletal figures to be released, the first look at the models for the Warhammer Quest Cursed Cities Skeletal Ulfenwatch. This article came out on the Warhammer community website back on the 4th of February 2021, and I missed it because I don't know why. Why would I miss this article that came out the first week of February? I must have been doing something the first week of February that kept me busy, but I can't really place my finger on what it would be. So this article came out, and it was the first in a new weekly series of articles. Okay, we're kicking it off with a look at Captain Halgrim and his Ulfenwatch. And boy, have they got a bone to pick with you. Ayah. Boy, I hope those puns are not going to keep getting worse and worse, because the more recent articles seem to be pun-free, and sheesh, that was rotten. That was more rotted than Captain Halgrim. Hoping to receive the gift of the Soul Blight Curse, Oleksander Halgrim joined the traitorous purge of Ulfenkarn's nobility. This did not go well with his fellow officers, who bound him hand and foot and threw him in a sewer pit to be eaten by corpse rats. You just say rats. Like all rats are corpse rats. Say the big rats in the sewer. His skeleton was then raised as a death rattle officer to lead the Ulfenwatch, although he is now little more than a rotting automaton. Hey girl, hey. This, okay, number one, the turned in left leg. This guy's doing Fosse right here. He's doing a Bob Fosse pose. This is not what I expect from a captain of a skeleton army. See, why has he even got his foot on a piece of masonry? That is for heroes. That's for heroic and villains. Put your foot up on something and hold your weapon up and scream, and everybody rallies around you. Like this, it makes no sense for him to be standing on a piece of masonry with his Bob Fosse pose. Oh no. He almost looks like Singing in the Rain. Looks like just not right. That's not right. To control a city the size of Ulfenkarn, an army is required, with no time to place ads in the local newspaper. Oh. Do they need writers at Warhammer Community? I'm available. I'll write these articles. With no time to place ads in the local newspaper, Gorslav the Gravekeeper emptied the corpse gardens and crypt tunnels. Soon an army of fleshless soldiers were dispensing brutal justice on the streets. Okay. Let's take a look at these guys. So, right out the gate, my first problem is they don't look like they're ready to fight. When you put these guys on the board, I don't know how they jump out of the shadows, or they come out of the room, or when your heroes go into the next area, these guys are there waiting. They don't look like they're ready to fight. They look like they're just hanging out, and the guy on the left looks like he's posing for a 90s rap album. And the guy on the right looks like he's just hanging out, checking out the girls at the nightclub. You know what these guys are? These are Lewis's boys. Lewis the Necromancer, when he goes to the clubs to pick up spicy hot Latino women, these are the rattling rattle boys that go with him. They look ridiculous. When you think of the old Vampire Count skeletons that came on the square bases, were all ranked up, they were all marching forward, they looked like they were shambling towards the enemy, walking down the field, even though some of their necks might look like they were broken, or their shoulders, or however you could pose them to make it look like they were being puppeted. They still had the general motion, like the legs were sculpted to look like they were one foot in front of the other, implacably moving towards the enemy. And these guys are just hanging out. I mean, if they're not going to be moving forward, it seems like Games Workshop should have made them pose as if they were bracing to be attacked by the adventurers. or as if they were looking like threatening the adventurers or something. They look so chilled out and hanging out like they're posing for the spread in the magazine. They look like they're posing for an Instagram photo. You know how the girls, the girls in these photos will like bunch up together and make duck lips and pose in front of the camera. Oh, that's so wrong. While an individual skeleton warrior shouldn't cause your party much trouble, they will be inspired to fight even harder by their banner bearer. Skeletons should not be inspired by a banner bearer. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. If it was an icon, like if it was a sensor that was emanating magic fumes, or if it was an unholy relic that had an aura of black magic emanating from it, and any skeleton within radius was energized by this black power, that's one thing. But saying that a piece of cloth, a standard, is going to motivate your rattle boys, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I guess they wanted to have a standard. They wanted to have standards. Of course you want to have standards. But it should have been something more magical instead of just they're inspired by seeing the flag. You know what I mean? They can't even see anything anyway. They don't have eyeballs. Look, this video is making my phone die. It's draining the battery. It's draining my will to paint Warhammer Quest models, just like it's draining my phone of battery. That's a beautiful standard, though. That's a beautiful design. It looks like it was painted on by freehand, which is unfortunate because new painters aren't going to be willing to go through all that trouble. If it is sculpted on, then that's good. It'll make it easier for beginning painters to try to pick out that design with a contrasting color like that. But yeah, I mean, the design of these guys seems just so off to me. If it was... Okay, the things I would change would be put them in a pose that looks more like flippin' city watch. Like aren't they supposed to be guardians, protectors of this unholy city? Why are they posing? Oh boy. No. My only consolation is that there are something like 20, 30, 40 skeletons that are going to come in this box. And as a joke, the intern who was writing this article said, why don't we pick the two that look the most ridiculous and put them on the website article just to have a laugh, and then the real spooky looking rattle boys are going to be coming later. I mean, I do love the way the artists have instead of just doing silver lead belcher for the breastplates, it looks like they started off of a black base coat and then they colored up with Incubi Darkness, maybe some Stegodon Scale Green or Sotek Green, washed it down with some known oil, and then dry brushed silver. That looks pretty cool. I dig that. The skeleton bone color itself seems to be your standard bone recipe, which is Rakarth flesh, shaded with Agrax Earthshade or known oil. I almost said Devlin Mud again. And then dry brushed or highlighted back up using Screaming Skull and Ushabti bone. Everything else looks pretty standard for how you would paint a skeleton warrior back in Warhammer Fantasy. And if you want to know how I did it, I still do have my how to paint skeleton warriors, less armored and fully armored miniatures on in the vault, I call it, way many years ago. But I think the paint recipe is still good because I was using the new colors at the time. And if I'm wrong and mistaken about that, then I'll do another one. Let's eBay us some skeleton warriors and I'll do a new tutorial, because hopefully if you have a lot of these models, then a new tutorial for how to paint skeletons would be fun. Oh, this guy with his Bob Fosse pose and the ridiculous angles standing on the masonry. It's just too much, guys. It's too much. All right, I'm going to cut it here. This was very underwhelming. Not just underwhelming, but kind of disappointing. And for a game where so many of the characters they've released so far have been just knocked out of the ballpark. These 3 skeletons are just very, very sad, and I'm not really digging it. So we'll see what the next couple of releases brings. The next miniatures that they preview, whatever it is, I will be here to give you my Warboss theoretical colors, what I would use to paint them, and my thoughts on the sculpts, the models, and everything about them. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you'd like to support my channel, you can support me through Patreon. You can buy some of my merch, which is down below. And you could also get over to the Discord, where we've always got something cooking. And you can do any of those things. But don't forget, before you go, to hit the like button. Leave me a comment. What do you think about these skeletons? What I might do is just... I mean, you can't, because they're going to come in the box anyway with all of the other awesome models. But I might not even use them for the game. I might just whip out my old skeleton models, just because I don't care for these poses. They should not make your adventurers laugh when they come out of the dark. Like, hey, what's up? When are we hitting the clubs? Maybe when Lewis and his posse roll around. I don't know. All right, you guys, have a great day. Stay safe. We'll see you in the next video. Latest, players!
What up, players? Gandalf the Grey, up in Dismal. Support WarbossTae Studios. For now, more than ever, Hobbiton is in desperate need of heroes. Heroes like Daniel Sprinkle, Scrag Fist, Brad 94H, Pigs, Dicey Guy, Harry Smith, Play It Painted, and Logan Swanson.